So hello and welcome, I'm Frederick Dunn and this is The Way to Be. This is the Keeper's Hive, the 2-queen system, and this is the box, the way it comes. So I bought this through their Indiegogo or their fundraiser campaign, their Kickstarter, and I've been following the Keeper's Hive for a little while here, and I have of course the single hive system which made it through winter. And I'm just going to go over some of the basics so that you'll know what to expect, and what people have been waiting for and asking me for is how to populate the hive. So we're going to do that, but I want to talk about things like Gorilla Glue. Look at that. The ultimate Gorilla Glue. It's waterproof stuff, so I'm actually using this instead of Type Bond 3 these days, and the reason is every time it froze and thawed out I used to lose my Type Bond, but the Gorilla Glue can handle that. So, and it's waterproof, so I'm going to use it. Whenever you're putting together your woodenware, please take my advice. Use glue. They threw in these seeds, looks like milkweed. I did not plant them, but I appreciate that they included them in the box. And because it was a fundraiser, you get the Keeper's Hive little placard that you're going to put on later. They established themselves in 2023. This gives you a list of tools. I'm going to use clamps, mallets, paint, everything they have here. And of course, here's the code. Maybe this will work on your screen. You can scan it and go see their videos. Sorry about the strobing effect here. When I put the box together and made this video late in the day, I made a mistake and videoed it in slow motion. So we got some strobing going on. Apologize for that. But the pieces go together well, and I'm just showing how to get started and just follow the instructions. They are pretty straightforward. But I do want to throw in some tips here and show you that there's this divider box that gets completely enclosed. And then you install that insert there, and there's another piece that goes on the other side. And then I want to pay attention to the fact that there are corners here that need to be glued, and there are galvanized, it look like hot dipped galvanized nails. Make sure to seal up all the corners. Just take advice from somebody who's done this for a while. Your corners and your top joints are the ones that fail the first, and these are propolis guards or shields. They go in on the end, and sometimes they could crack, and I sure enough did crack one, and that's because the holes are pre-drilled in the side, and if your screw draws it down just a little bit too far, you're going to snap off that little ear. They did send replacements, so not a problem at all from the company. And I just didn't put them in, and I'll show you why later in this video. But that's just a shield. The new ones, by the way, the replacements are not clear. They're black. So just pay attention to the way these things go together. I also want to point out that you really want to square things up good, and you cannot overglue it. Just word of advice there. This is going to be together once and forever, in my opinion, at least for me, probably for the rest of my life. I don't know. So I cover the whole joint, and they're very clear about which side of this board goes up, for example, and what side of the box it goes on. And they have screws and nails for everything, so you don't even have to buy them. And then, of course, there's a divider board that sets down into that. That's why it's very important. 40 nails, wood glue optional. I highly recommend. Don't consider it optional. Please use wood glue. And you also have little clamps that go on there. I did not include how to install your clamps in this video, or the hinges for that matter. I just focused on the basics. See this little rabbit joint here and that very thin piece? It doesn't matter which Langstroth hive you put together, where it comes from, who makes it. That is the first failure point in every beehive I've ever owned. So glue it. Glue it all the way, and use screws or nails. Plus, they're pre-drilled. So it'll look funny if you put it together without any nails and stuff. And these are the nails and screws, self-tapping screws that came with it. Stainless steel screws, galvanized hot dip nails. And I'm just going to show you quickly here how I put the glue on the finger joints. When you put them together, box joints, finger joints, whatever you want to call them. I know people get very specific about that. And when you put them together, it'll ooze through all the little nooks and crannies, and I like to see it come out, and then you just smear it around with your fingers. So there again, I'm using the new Gorilla Glue stuff that I learned about at the North American Honeybee Expo. They were represented there down in Louisville, Kentucky. Then you use all your clamps, of course. Not every clamp you have, but it never hurts to use more than you need. And you don't have to snug them up really tight, but I want to make sure that I see glue coming out all the joints. I want to make sure I have 100% seal there. And when I rub it around with my fingers, I cover that end grain with the glue because it's all going to be painted, but this is just extra coverage. Also, you want to make sure you get your speed square out. Make sure that all these joints are square. It was off a little bit, and because I'm gluing it up, you want to make sure that all your joints are a perfect 90. Look at all the little fancy dimpling I did here when I hammered in those nails. I didn't want to just hit them flush. I want to leave my mark, literally. And here we are with the rabbit joint, all glued up good. I also just run a thin bead along all the joints from the inside, just to make sure. Exterior paint now. I did make a little bit of a mistake there, I guess. With the exterior paint, I went with Valspar exterior semi-gloss or satin, and that stuff is thick. It's kind of gummy. So if you're going to paint your box, and I hope you do, you're going to have to do it well ahead of putting it out in your bee yard so that this thing will be dry enough. There it is, Valspar Integrity Select. There's the box just loosely assembled, and I'm showing the divider board here. And underneath of this goes the queen excluder. Now the queen excluder, the where it fits underneath of this and not shown in this sequence, leaves a tiny gap that maybe the bees can get under, but we've not seen a problem, and you're going to see in the second half of this video bees in the hive. So anyway, the clamps hold it all together, very handy. All the stuff that you're seeing here is probably available at your hardware store. The website also has a bunch of videos on exactly how to do things. I highly recommend that you make sure that your joints and edges are good to go. So that's the end of my narration. The rest is just me and Paula putting it together, and you're going to see how it goes. We're doing a super split, collecting bees from several hives. So the colony will represent 6 contributing beehives.
And that's it.
Done, we're done. Did you live from that?
No.
I was going to say.
Is it a match?
Yep.
It's a match? That was easy.
Oh, that was pretty
It's
easy.
almost like they designed it for a standard 10-frame bottom board.
Thank you.
Now look at this. It's a perfect lineup. I think we're ready for bees. Alright.
I just want to learn how.
So, yeah, these are, remember, we're going to be putting these in the Hive Butler totes.
Gotcha.
So when we're ready, you're going to get one side, and I'm going to get the other side.
Gotcha.
I'll collect my bees, you collect your bees, and we'll see whose bees do better.
Oh boy. Gotta
Okay.
travel.
Ooh, my paint really sticks.
Yeah, it was stuck.
Yeah, so the whole point is this is the height, this is how you attend to the bees, and when you take your glass out, it goes right in the lid like right. Now we come over here. So this is the way we're going to pull all these frames out, but the glass is on the top here, goes right into the folding part. Pull the sides out, these are the propolis guards. We can put these here for now. And we're going to pull all the frames out. This happens to be a drone comb frame. Each side is going to have one of these on the end. Normally we would use the follower board and start with a very small colony, but because we're building a super split, we're going to be putting in full frames of brood, and you're going to pull frames from that side. We're going to have a laying queen and a minimum of 3 full frames of brood on each side, and by that we mean capped with some resources, and we'll load them both up equally, and they'll mix together here in the super that has a queen excluder right here, so the queens can't go up, but the workers can mingle, actually. So,
Nice.
questions?
No, it's pretty easy.
Brood frame. honeycomb drawn. So that's it. We're going to leave the top boxes alone. We've got a divider, and it looks like 5 deep frames each. And this will be for the bees. Everything above here is for the beekeeper. So queen excluder's on. We'll put the inner cover on. And because we're going to be feeding liquid, we'll keep this solid side down. If we ever wanted to put, like we get some really bad weather or something, which for a colony this size is not going to be a problem, but we could put the Hive Alive pollen patties in there, and then you would have this side up. You can also mix fondant into these and make them in your kitchen, and then have several backed up, spare empty ones. But you always have to have this in place. So here we've just got it in as if we're going to be feeding syrup. We've got brood, some honey, we've got open cells, so this is going to be the furthest one into the middle. Capped worker brood, both sides. We're good for about 5,000 workers within the next 2 weeks. And the queen is on one of these. Or capped worker brood. This one's about 50% capped and plenty of drawn brood comb. More than 3,000 workers in the pupa state. Same thing on this side. Same thing, worker brood. They had queen cells here, so they had already recently swarmed, and we left them with their new queen because we didn't know if she was mated. Plenty of capped brood. And this is the last one, capped brood. Some pollen and also some open brood in the top right. And I would just follow up with some empty frames here. And the bees that are in the bucket, in the Hive Butler, we'll park this in the front of the hive and we'll have those walk through the entrance. And the last frame here is going to be the drone frame, and then we're just dropping in the follower board. And that's it. So now they're closed off by the glass, so they can't come out here anymore. We're just going to have to keep these off the side and get them around to the front. And that's it. Loaded. You got some angry bees here, Paula.
Yeah, Frank pissed them off because he lifted this box and one of the frames came up with it.
And he dropped it?
He didn't, well, no, it didn't drop. I grabbed it before it did that, but they were not happy. Oh, it's so heavily propylized.
That's got a lot of honey in it too.
Honey and brood. I'm going to take this baby. Now you got to
Oh yeah, that's a lot of brood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a queen on mine.
So I think I'm going to go into that other They dripped honey on bees here. What a mess. But I like this frame a lot. So.
Yeah, it's loaded.
So how many brood frames did you take?
I think I took 6 total.
I'll get there. Come on.
Her for
Take her for the.
Yep, for the hive.
Because they have a plenty.
Yeah, she's nice and fat. Let's get her right in there. Because now we know we're set for that one.
You want me to put her right in?
Yeah, take her right over.
Yeah.
Let's go. Make her the closest one all the way in.
Want to video her? See that beauty?
Yep, she is right. Let's get a close up.
Right there.
So we know what starts this colony. Oh, she's moving.
Yeah, she's a pretty one.
All right, get her right in. That is not Beatrice. Why is he calling her Beatrice? Everybody knows it's Philomena. No. Is it okay if you are?
I mean, if you're gonna pay me
Okay.
my SAG daily
We
rate.
got the SAG daily rate.
Sag daily rate.
Oh my gosh, Green
Okay,
Hikers
so
Guild guys.
what I already loaded in
Yeah.
was as you saw
We got that
before,
nice queen.
The nice queen
Yep.
is in there first with nice brood. This is a mixed brood frame. There's some pollen on here, some honey on the corner from the same hive.
Got lots
Also,
of
lots
open
of
brood.
open brood,
Let's get a
some
zip in on that real
capped
quick.
brood,
We'll just
and
show
some
that. Yep.
honey in the corner.
Did you see any eggs in here? Oh,
There
you moved
are
it. I think
legs.
they're
Sorry.
I think
There's
there probably
eggs-
are some
eggs and larvae
Eggs with
and-
legs?
Eggs with
Yeah,
legs.
there's some eggs right there. Just hold still.
Yep.
We'll get a close up.
Eggs in different
Oh,
stages
nice.
of larvae. So it's a
well
nice
fed
frame.
too. Good.
Yes.
All right.
Good frame. I didn't
So we're
take from
cooking
some
right
of the
here.
other hives because they had only a few brood frames.
All right.
Load that puppy in.
And what a nice queen. That was great.
She was beautiful. Okay, very similar frame here. They're open up honey there. When we took it out, it opened up a bit.
That's okay. Yeah.
And we have all different stages of larvae, and there are some eggs in there.
All right.
Well fed, same thing. Nice frame on the other side. It's come full
So
circle.
how many colonies are we representing here?
This came out of 3.
3 separate colonies.
3 separate
And so the one
colonies.
thing we kind of want to point out is they're all getting along.
So far.
There are no issues frame to frame. And so when we're super splitting like this and we're pulling frames from separate colonies, most of these are nurse bees. They're very laid back and they're all just blending. And so those that emerge will just form one colony. So I think that's great. But yeah, there's no fighting. There's no skirmishes.
That fly wanted to make a guest appearance that just
Yeah.
landed on there. But this is a nice
Oh,
brood
yeah.
frame.
Yep. This is a real kickstart.
And this came from a hive that was getting honey bound. So
And we should probably mention the date. Is this the 2nd?
this is August the 2nd.
August 2nd. Yep.
And I want to thank you, Fred, for including me in this. This is wonderful. This comes full circle. These are not charged queen cells.
Yep. Yep.
They're just cups. There's some pollen in here. That's why I took this.
We should probably also say what the weather conditions are today.
Weather
Is it like,
conditions couldn't be more perfect.
what is the temp? 70
It is
something?
73, 71. But just a gorgeous day.
Perfect
This frame
sun.
that I already loaded has fully capped honey on one side.
Okay, lots of resources
Lots
then.
of resources then,
So they can goof off a little bit.
just a little. And then there's nice capped brood.
No, I
on
didn't
that.
notice. Did we get much pollen or did you see any?
I just put a pollen.
You did
frame
put a
in there.
pollen
Yeah,
load in.
yeah.
Okay. And there's a lot kicking in the environment, so they're
Yeah,
good to
they're
go.
coming in. All the hives are coming in with multiple sources of pollen. Don't mind my trial gloves here. And then we will put an empty so they have something to do.
And so we counted them. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames
So
I'll put another one in, or you want to?
no, we'll just put. You've got the follower board right there. I think we should put an empty frame in. As loaded as this is, do you have one?
Maybe I left one over there.
We missing a frame?
You know what? I don't know if they were fully.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to run and get another frame.
All right.
Okay.
Frank, do you want to
So
grab another frame from
this is gonna be super fast. Watch how quick I get it.
Last one. We're gonna put the last frame in. Gonna smoke these.
Oh, they match your gloves.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's kind of snug, isn't it?
Yeah. And this is why I don't like wearing these, but I don't feel like ruining my manicure.
Okay. And we'll put the propolis guards in.
Propolis guards go in, both sides. Get this girl in.
Oh, yours are behaving. Mine were all over the side of the hive. And you
And
can feel where
mine
they
are
goes
all-
in the grooves.
all
Did
right.
it feel like it went in?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now one thing I want to point out, this broke off when we were putting this together.
Wait a minute.
This little piece down here.
Is that right?
And because the follower board is in its place, they sent me replacement parts for this, new ones, because that's a frequent break point. But because the follower board is right up against that, we don't have to worry about replacing that now, but we do have the parts that they sent.
That's great.
So we're good to close up.
Yeah.
Just get that little rest off.
Get out.
I love that heavy plate glass, by the way.
Yeah.
You got one in there. Ooh.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
Come on, girlfriend.
Oh.
Come on. Come on. Thank you.
And we're done.
We're done.
Yay! All
Well,
right.
this is full circle because at the Bee Expo, the North American Honeybee Expo, we spoke to George about this together. So I feel like this is a full circle moment.
So what do you
thank
think of it? Just give me your kind of
it was
overall
super
feeling. What are their
easy.
chances?
It was really easy putting it together. I like the idea of the super split because you get it going right away.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing how it overwinters because that was one of my questions at the Honeybee Expo.
Yeah.
But that's it. I'm really excited to
Excellent.
see how this works.
Great.
Thanks, Fred.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to thank Frank and Paula for helping out with this installation and setup of the 2 Queen Keepers hive system. And of course what I did is I put a double load of Hive Alive pollen patties because remember these are primarily nurse bees. They have a lot of brood in there. Some still open. They need to take care of it. So we're going to jump ahead here, August the 13th. And we're looking at landing boards to see that there's lots of pollen coming in. You would think with all that pollen coming in, they wouldn't touch any kind of pollen patties up inside. We do that as an insurance policy because of the potential for rain and extended periods where these bees can't get out. Plus, they don't have a lot of foragers yet. They're still on the way. So here's what it looks like today. And of course, they took all the light syrup. That was a 1-to-1 sugar syrup that would give them the energy to do things that need to be done. Last thing I wanted to see was a bunch of dead brood on the landing board because they couldn't keep them warm. Temps dropped into the high 50s, low 60s. And look, they're just munching away on that. So long as they're active on this pollen patty here, I'm going to leave it right in there. And the convenient thing is too, we can just pull the top and get them out whenever they decide that they don't need it anymore. But I'm surprised, even with all the pollen coming in through the landing boards, through the entrances, they're still working on that. And remember, this is a common area. So that center feeder is where the bees from both sides are coming up. And it's very interesting. We can pop the sides and take a look anytime, even without smoke. So that's handy. This feeder, by the way, is by Apame. And if we look at landing boards, this is Paula's side here. This is my side over here. Now you'll notice that I did have empty frames before in the number 1 and 2 spots. I have since reinforced them even with more brood. So that's why this looks far more populated. And we have not done any inspections on, of course, the super yet. We're going to look at Paula's side here, and we'll see fewer workers, but the queen is still there. They're still feeding their brood, and they're still getting along. The only thing that separates the two sides is the queen excluder and the divider board on this upper box. Many have pointed out that it seems like the bees could actually go under the queen excluder, around it, around the divider, and get to the other side, but so far they haven't shifted all the way to one side or the other. I think things are looking good, and we're going to be supering in the coming week. And that's when we will stop feeding any sugar syrup and no more pollen patties for these guys. So I hope you enjoyed watching this today. I hope it answered some of your questions. Of course, this is the first year with the Keeper's Hive 2 queen system. We've had the other hive, went through winter just fine. I am going to put some insulation up in these foldable tops there over the glass plate. And I did put double bubble over the feeder. Of course, because I participated in their fundraising campaign, I bought this thing myself. It comes with a little placard there. And I did leave out some details in this video. Don't know where those videos went, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So I hope you enjoyed it. Visit the website, thekeepershive.com, to learn more. And we'll make more follow-ups. Thanks for watching.